What I do is rescue animals. So we don't breed them, we don't sell them, it's all strictly rescue. If an animal is in danger of being put down because somebody thinks it's part wolf, if we can help, we will. Wolves are not vicious man killers. They're also not cartoon animals, right? They are what they are, which is apex predators, and they're not changing for you. Wolfwood is a state and federally licensed rescue for wolves and wolf dogs. And we have everything here from dogs to full wolves and everything in between. Right now we have 57 animals, so it's big. Animals that come to us are not candidates for re-release because they've already been involved with people. So if you want to put an animal back into the wild, you don't want it to get used to people. My guys have already been involved with people. So we do the opposite of a release program. We try to get them as used to people as possible because they have to live with me for the rest of their lives. All the animals here are permanent residents. And the first thing that we do when we get an animal in is we physically have to rehabilitate it. We physically have to make it better. Sometimes that takes a couple days, sometimes that can take a couple years. It just depends on what's happened to them. More than dealing with the differences between wolves and dogs, we're dealing with abuse triggers. Most of our animals are severe abuse cases. So we'll talk about that a little bit. So today we're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about what wolves look like, what makes them the same as dogs, what makes them different. We're going to talk about life in the wild, and we'll talk about communication, which in the wolf world is really, really critical. And in between all that, I'll tell you stories about the animals. This is Trinity. Trinity is a fairly high percentage wolf dog. She is not a full wolf. And so we're going to use her to talk about what that means. All right, so we're going to start with eyes. Wolves can have light green all the way to brown eyes, never blue. If you see something on TV with blue eyes that they're telling you it's a wolf, they're lying to you, right? They can be born with blue eyes just like people, but then they switch. And you're looking for that slant, that really nice slant. Dogs' eyes are a lot rounder. Northern breeds like Huskies and Malamutes, they can have, slanted eyes, but what you're looking for is just that nice golden slant. So Trinity has very wolfy eyes, right? So her eyes are very typically wolves. They have really long pointed noses. Wolves have more than 250 million smelling cells. People only have 10 million. So we just need short little noses, right? If we want to learn about our world, we tend to use our eyes first. Canines use their nose first. And when we talk about communication, we'll talk about why that makes such a difference. So really long pointed noses. One of the ways I know that Trin's not a full wolf is her nose is kind of blunt, right? So if you look at her nose right here, it's kind of blunt. Ears always stand up, they're always erect, and everything about wolves is made for cold weather. 20 below, they're perfectly happy, right? We're out here cussing and swearing because the locks are frozen and the water's frozen, and they're romping and playing. So they have a lot of adaptations for winter. One of them is their ears are fairly close to their heads. If you have big old tall ears like German Shepherd ears, it's too much heat loss, right? So their ears are fairly close to their heads and full of fur. If you look at Trinity's ears, there's lots and lots of fur in there. If you look at some of my dogs and some of my wolf dogs, there's a lot less fur. And they can turn them all the way around to the back, so it's easier to hear behind them. And they can hear so well that they can hear a mouse running underground. Hopefully one of the wolves will let me show you his teeth. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But wolves' teeth are very, very different than dogs. These are your canine teeth. Anything that eats meat has canine teeth. Wolves' canine teeth are very long and curved. They're much more long and much more curved than a dog's, right? That's for prey grabbing. I tell the kids they are carnivores. They don't like beans, they don't like broccoli. Our guys will eat ice cream, but in general, they want meat. So there's these big, long canine teeth for prey grabbing. Then behind that, there's little tiny teeth, even smaller than dogs, for bone scraping. They want to get all the meat off the bone. Then in the back, they have giant bone crunching teeth. Wolves have the third strongest jaws of all mammals. So pound for pound, a lot more pressure than a dog's. I also tell the kids, and you, everybody, wolves don't make good pets, right? our mission is to try to get people to save wild places for wild animals. I tell the kids, you're going to grow up and boat. You're going to run the world someday. You know, save part of our planet to share with animals and other things. But please don't have exotic animals in your backyard. It's not good for us. It's not good for them. So we're very, very, very against breeding. One of the many reasons they don't make good pets is they treat people like they treat each other. Part of the thing that we have to work at is to control that jaw pressure, right? They have to learn they cannot bite down on me as hard as they can bite down on each other. And the more excited they get, just like kids, they forget, right? So we try to keep them calm when we interact with them because they want to play rough, and playing rough with a wolf hurts, right? Wolves have super long legs. They can run 35 miles an hour. So they have these very, very long legs. That's another reason why, you know, Trinity's not a full wolf, is her legs are too short, right? She's too short to the ground. Wolves are built like marathon runners. Malamutes are built like weightlifters, right? So they're built for strength. And so my big blocky animals almost always are part Malamute. So they run 35 miles an hour easily. They have very, very long legs and very big feet. She's got wolf feet. Wolves' feet are huge, right? And they're webbed so that when they go down in the snow, it acts like snowshoes. You guys know what dew claws are? No wolf has back dew claws. No wild dog has back dew claws. Not wolves, not coyotes, not foxes. If you go home and you look at your dog and it doesn't have a back dew claw, that doesn't make it a wolf. But you can't be a wolf and have a back dew claw, right? So it's just one of the other things that we look for. And wolves move very differently than dogs do. Wolves' back feet hit exactly like their front feet, where their front feet hit. So if you're going to track a wolf, their tracks look like railroad tracks. They're straight. Dog tracks are offset like this. They also pick up their feet and prance like horses. They just move very differently. I tell people wolves are to land what dolphins are to water, right? They are meant to move, and they are gorgeous when they do it. There's nothing more beautiful than a wolf running in the snow. All right, Trin, show me your tail and then you can go. Come here. Let me see. Let's see some tail work. I know it's hot out. I'm sorry. So this right here. So wolves' tails are long. They always reach almost to the ground. Again, the wolves will have lost a lot of fur, so their tail will look shorter. That's so they can wrap it around their nose. Their nose is their only vulnerable part in the wintertime, and their tail has to wrap. This spot right here, this black spot covered in fur, that's a wolf spot. So all the wolves have a black spot right there, blam. There is a scent gland there that most dogs don't have anymore. So you know how your dog goes nose to butt when they want to meet another dog, because they're smelling anal glands because they don't have scent glands in their tail. Wolves go nose to tail. And that scent gland is like a fingerprint. Every one of them is different. And if they get really scared, that scent gland will emit a smell that I can smell. So the scent gland is very important when we talk about communication. Okay?